Hello and welcome to Link Ahead, the City of Dublin podcast. On this episode, we're getting down and dirty, but it's all in the name of keeping Dublin clean and green, right, Bruce?
That's right. Here to talk about all things sustainable and how Dublin ranks as one of the best cities for these efforts is Public Service Administrator Michael Darling. Michael, welcome to Link Ahead.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Michael, we're a little nerdy here, and we love to talk about
numbers. Speak for yourself.
That's all. All right, I'm a lot nerdy. Tell our listeners just how many pounds of stuff you and your team deal with on a yearly basis. I mean, you deal with trash, recyclables, composting, styrofoam. Tell us about the stuff.
All of the things. We're going to go ahead and put this in tons because that's a lot more manageable.
Say.
But 21,044.5 tons last year.
Wow. Say that again.
21,044.5 tons.
Tons. Wow.
Tons.
Chipping, that's pumpkins, that's electronics, that's all of the steel from our engineering department. We keep track of literally everything. And the street sweepings, also we count that because it's actually, even though that goes to landfill, it doesn't go into the rivers and streams. The composting program has been very successful. We just wrapped up our Save More Than Food campaign, and we added 97 people registrants since August 28th. There's a total of 991 total registrants right now through the city. This year so far, we're standing at 37.64 tons. And over the lifetime of the program, we are at 153.67 tons.
Ooh. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. So broadly, what's the impact all this stuff for keeping all this stuff out of landfills?
So the more we can keep out of landfills, the better. One of the things that the Solid Waste Authority of Central Ohio is keen on is, it seems counterintuitive for a landfill, but they want to keep things out of the landfill because a landfill has a finite amount of space. And if it doesn't, then they need to expand it.
Right.
And that gets complicated. So some of the impacts, did you know that 70% of the material coming to Franklin County still has the potential to be recycled? So if we could divert 35% of that material, it would create 400 new jobs, $1.9 million in payroll, and $115 million in gross revenue.
Wow.
So it's really important.
Let's talk about that diversion rate. I know each year we're better than the national and state averages here in Dublin and among the best in the region. So how are we looking this year, and what can we do to make it even better?
There's so many opportunities, and there's a lot of low-hanging fruit. One of the things that we're focusing on right now is creating a better system for collecting our office recycling, the paper and cardboard and things like that. Just as far as sustainability and things like that, one of the things that I'm keeping an eye on is the move from standard rear load service, where you have a couple guys on the back of a truck, what we all are used to seeing, into more of a streamlined, fully automated collection. And what that does is a lot of the newer trucks are CNG, compressed natural gas, where a lot of the old rear load and even the new rear loads are still diesel.
Right.
And then it also helps us get those trucks in and out of town quicker, and we're able to manage it better, and we're able to garner a lot more information because the containers in fully automated collection have RFID tags. So we'll be able to locate your container if you lose it. Like a lot of them end up at the neighbors on windy days,
Sure.
And then we get calls, hey, where's my container? Well, we'll be able to tell you where it is. And then we'll be able to get actual tonnages off of those containers because they'll actually be able to be weighed. The root of everything is to continue to be innovative, continue to look at the process. How do we collect trash faster? How do we limit the number of trucks? When you limit the number of trucks, you bring your trash bill down, which the city pays for. So my budget is $5 million, and 95% of that is the recycling and trash contract.
Wow.
So if we can bring that bill down, let's say we have 25 trash trucks and 25 recycling trucks on a Wednesday in Dublin driving around, well, that's a lot more vehicles. That's a lot more big vehicles, a lot more wear and tear on the roads. And if we can move towards automated, maybe we can take it down to 17 trash trucks and 16 recycling trucks. which then you're saving, so that's finance and budgeting. And then we can use those funds to do something else, like something that would be appealing to the residents. I mean, the best way to do it is to work with the hauler and Rumpke, which is our hauler, and kind of tailor your program to them.
Michael, all these efforts are paying off and getting recognized. The city just received a gold level award from the Ohio EPA, which recognizes communities with exceptional achievements in environmental stewardship. Can you talk a little bit about some of the advancements in sustainability you've seen in your 5 or so years in Dublin?
Yes, I started in August of 2018, and since then we have installed the food waste drop-off program, the styrofoam program, and the pumpkin composting program.
Right, big ones.
Yeah, those are awesome. Now, I just noticed in our office we have the food composting bin right now.
Sure, yes. So each building has a champion, like a composting champion, and it's their job to take the food composting bucket over to the service center and dump it into the
Sounds like a
containers.
competition.
Yeah.
Like,
I like that. But remember how big the service center is. Don't forget.
No, I don't think we want to fill up our bin that
And the
full.
best part is those little coffee pods can go in there.
Oh, right.
So that's nice.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
And here's some really exciting news for residents. We have a new and improved Document Destruction Day coming up. And this year we're going bigger and better than ever with Sustainable Saturday. And this is a chance to shred old documents, but so much more. So tell us first of all, when it is and what all you can bring, Michael.
It's coming up Saturday, October 14th from 9 a.m. to noon at our Fleet Complex on Shire Rings Road. Acceptable items for destruction are paper documents, paper receipts, paper mail, file folders, credit cards, CDs, and hard drives. And as you mentioned, you can recycle more than paper. We're collecting styrofoam and linens, old towels, sheets, which will be donated to the Ohio Wildlife Center. You can also bring clothing and small household items, which will be donated to Goodwill. So jumpstart your fall cleaning and head to the Fleet Complex on Saturday, October 14th.
Yeah, you can have a nice fall cleaning there. And you mentioned the Ohio Wildlife Center. One of our city planners, Sarah Holt, volunteers for the Ohio Wildlife Center, and she's the one who brought this to our attention. Hey, we can collect textiles, linens, old blankets, things like that, and they use them at the Wildlife Center. So that's really nice.
And it looks like you can recycle all your Blink 182 CDs.
Watch
CD.
out.
But seriously, that's a product of, think about the 90s and all the CDs that were produced. And now what do we do with all that stuff?
Hang them on the wall? I don't know.
Decorate, coasters.
Right, coasters. I like that. And then right around the corner is pumpkin composting. So last year in Dublin alone, we composted over 68,000 pounds of pumpkins. Describe that program for us.
Okay, the pumpkin program started 2 years ago, and this year what you can expect is we are going to have a 20-yard roll-off at the service center. You can bring your pumpkins from October 16th through December 8th. You can also bring chrysanthemums if you want, as long as you take them out of the pots. The corn shocks, as long as you untie them and put them in loose. And then a lot of people use hay or straw bales. You can bring that too, as long as you take the strings off.
You say you're going to have a roll off. Can you explain for our listeners what that is? Because people are picturing
Absolutely.
rolling their
Yes. That's what
pumpkins
I was
down
thinking.
the
Absolutely.
street.
So a roll-off is just a large container that used for yard waste or trash or recycling, depending on its designation. So this one will be for pumpkins. So it's 16 feet long by about 3 feet tall. And then it has a door on the back, and you can just take out your frustrations and throw your pumpkins in there.
Yeah.
So I want to know, where do all the pumpkins go?
Okay, we currently have a contract with Price Farms Organics in Delaware County. So Rumpke hauls them up there for us. They drop them at their facility where they are mixed with the zoo brew and the poo from the zoo, and then it's called zoo brew. And why the pumpkins are so valuable, or why they want them, is because high water content. So whenever you're composting takes a lot of water. So pumpkins have a high water content, and so it's very valuable in the use in composting.
Wow.
So we definitely want to make sure pumpkins are one of those things we definitely want to make sure that we capture, because pumpkins, you can't put them out as yard waste because they just make a mess at the yard waste place. And then of course landfills. So we're trying to keep things out of landfills. So one way to do that is the pumpkins. Plus, when you drop your pumpkins off, you get to see all the cool stuff that everybody else, like all the cool carvings and all the stuff and paintings. So
and you get to have a little fun with it. We're going to have a basketball hoop out there. Come dunk your pumpkins. I know we've been talking about that. We're excited.
So speaking of our composting program, same question. Where does all the compost go?
Okay, it is picked up by a company called Go Zero, and it is hauled to the London Correctional Facility, where the inmates work it and make compost into it.
So how can people get involved in that composting program?
Okay, we have a link on our website. If you go to dublinohiousa.gov/compost, there's a sign-up page there, and we do encourage people to register. It just helps us manage how successful the program is. Plus, if there is any new information, we can send an email out to you and let you know that, hey, Rumpke is now taking butter tubs or whatever. It's a way for us to interact with you and also gauge how well the program is doing.
Nice. Awesome. And they do keep adding more and more things, Rumpke, to what you can recycle. So that's always really exciting. Michael, I've noticed that companies like Amazon, Kroger, Walmart talk about lighter packaging, which in turn can lessen the load in our recycling bins. I'm wondering what other trends are you watching that will help in terms of sustainability, conservation, and lessening our footprint?
It's interesting that you brought that up, because as I was preparing, I was looking through our old recycling numbers, and they have been steadily declining since 2020, which really was and that's because things are lighter. Okay, it's because
the waste. Okay,
so sad.
It got my attention too, because I'm like, how are we supposed to do this diversion rate thing if our recycling's going down? And then it dawned on me, well, plastic bottles are lighter and thinner. Aluminum cans are lighter and thinner. Glass is being opted out, and plastics are being opted in. Like the only thing in glass anymore really is pickle jars and wine bottles. And I don't know how the wine industry is doing, but our glass is way down. So, of course, things are lighter. Like right now we're sitting at 2,390 tons. And when we closed last year, we were at 4,407 tons compared to 4,851 tons in 2020.
Wow.
So we're going to finish up somewhere in the 3,000 ton range.
And Bruce, there is going to be a pop quiz at the end of this.
Good golly, Miss Molly. I should have started writing that stuff down, Lindsay. So, Michael, I've seen, and we came up with a design that's going on, the new big bellies that are going out. Can you talk about the big bellies? Big
belly trash cans, let's be specific.
Thank you for clarifying that.
So the big bellies, it's really good technology, and what they are is they're solar powered compactors.
That's so cool.
Yeah. The recycling side does not have a compaction side, but the trash side does. So you can compact it 3 to 1. There's a 3 to 1 compaction ratio, which means you can fit 3 times as much trash in that container as you can in an average regular run-of-the-mill trash container. And the neat thing about these is it will send you an email when it's full. So you don't have to chase empty containers. It's a better use of our labor. They don't have to guess which containers are full. They don't have to chase. We did put 2 on, one on either end of the linked bridge. There's a lot of upside to those containers.
All right, Michael, what do we do with batteries? It seems like we have everything is powered these days. So what is the truth about recycling batteries?
As far as residents, we want to make sure that we keep batteries out of the trash. You can call SWACO. You can visit the SWACO website. There is a drop-off area over on 17th Avenue, I believe, where you can take household batteries. The reason we don't want them in the trash stream is because they will catch fire.
Right.
And we had a trash truck catch fire earlier this summer in the Kroger parking lot.
Oh, wow.
So lithium-ion batteries especially catch fire.
All right, Michael, we have a tradition of wrapping up every episode with rapid fire questions, and we're going to jump right into it. Okay, so be honest. Have you actually missed putting your bins out the night before, and then you hear the trucks early the next morning and you scramble half asleep to run your bins outside?
No.
No,
It's
never,
it's just
never.
my wife and I, and if I forget or if it just doesn't happen, we just wait till the next week.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Like there's only two of us. It just
You're
is what it is. Yeah.
What's the coolest thing right now that's getting recycled into something else that's usable?
Probably the coolest thing is your plastic water bottles. They call it PET, and they are currently making clothing and carpeting out of that.
Oh, wow.
It's a little scratchy, like I won't lie, but they've probably come a long way since
Sure.
we were handing out shirts made of plastic bottles.
Okay, when people find out about your job, what's the most common question they ask you?
Actually, it's, do we deal with poo? And I'm like,
Oh.
no, that's sewer and engineering.
They deal with a lot of poo.
They deal with a lot of poo. We do not. So, you know, the main thing they want to know is, does everything get recycled, and does the city make money off of the recycling that we do collect?
Oh.
So two-pronged answer
Okay.
is we have what's called a recycling processing agreement, and it is based on basically the market value. If the market value of the recycling material goes up, then our bill for the processing of it goes down. And we have had the markets high enough to where we've actually had money come in and then put back into the general fund or wherever it went. And then also, as far as does it, you know, because we do get the call every once in a while from a resident, hey, I saw them throw trash and recycling in the same truck. You know, why do they do that? And it's probably because, you know, one of the trucks was running around town late, and what happens is that truck will go back to the material recovery facility and actually get sorted, because Rumpke Waste and Recycling is putting up a $107 million brand new material recycling facility, and that recycling has value. So they don't want to pay $42.75 a ton or whatever it is to take it to landfill. So the answer is absolutely. They do not drive recycling to landfill because they have a vested interest in it. It's worth money.
Back to rapid fire. The most underrated public service Dublin offers residents.
That's easy. That's us. Like, in my opinion, I mean, they're all valuable, but we have our hands literally in everything. Trash and recycling, it's a health. It's about public health. You know, we're getting material that brings bugs and disease and rodents and things. We're getting them out of town as fast as possible to a safe location, which, believe it or not, is the landfill. We're trying to figure out how to do it as quickly as possible with as few trucks as possible. We're also trying to figure out, you know, what process will bring that, so it's or, you know, what kind of process will allow us to do that. So that's kind of like engineering, and then in travel and mobility and logistics and things like that.
You are underrated, and I think Dublin residents might not realize, you know, they don't pay directly for their trash pickup, which is different than most communities. That's you know, just kind of part of the services that we offer.
A lot of residents are direct billed in other cities, and the city of Dublin pays that. And part of my job is try to figure out how to get that $5 million down to like 3.5.
All right. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck.
Okay, I know the answer to this, but I need everyone to hear it. Can I recycle my Starbucks cup?
You sure can. And your Timmy Hortons?
What about plastic food containers?
Yes, but not the clamshells yet. And let me tell you about something that's coming. You heard it here first. So when Rumpke finishes their new material recovery facility, there will be something called the Hefty Orange Bag Program, where if it's plastic and you don't know if it's recyclable or not, you know, let's say it's your saran wrap, it's your plastic knives and forks, it's your plastic bowls, your clamshells, your fruit containers, anything plastic strapping, it doesn't matter. You can go to Kroger, purchase the yellow bags. I think they're a pack for $10 or something like that. Put all those plastics in there, put it in your recycling container, and then Rumpke will pull it off the line, compact everything up, and then it goes somewhere to be sorted, separated, and they figure this out, because the reason for this is the demand for plastic material to be recycled is 3.4 billion tons, and the supply is like 1.7 billion tons. So they're trying to figure out how to harvest as much plastics as possible, because again, everything is moving towards plastics and away from glass, away from cardboard kind of, and things like that for packaging and things like that. So so the demand for plastics is way up.
All right. Okay, earlier we mentioned pumpkins. So if you had to choose, would you like a slice of pumpkin pie or a pumpkin spice latte?
I'm a farmer at heart, so pumpkin pie.
Okay.
Can you carve a cool design in a pumpkin?
It has been a while. My wife and I do like fall displays for different businesses and things, so we don't get a chance to carve them. Okay. So we just use the whole pumpkin and straw bales and things like that.
Oh, fun. What's your go-to lunch spot in Dublin?
City Barbecue.
Just had that last week. It was delicious.
Best thing about fall in Dublin?
Every day to and from work, I drive up Avery Muirfield Drive, and I think the way the town is laid out, the trees, like I started out in landscape architecture at Ohio State and then transitioned into landscape horticulture. And so I'm kind of a landscaper at heart, and just everything is so intentional and so well done. And the trees, just the way the colors pop off of each other, it's really a beautiful drive back and forth.
Well, Michael, you've given us a lot to think about, and thank you for being here on Link Ahead.
Absolutely, anytime.
And to our listeners, thank you as well for taking the time to connect with your city. Tune in next time as we continue to explore the many personalities and experiences that make Dublin a thriving place to live, work, and grow.